This is TWiT.
Okay, so Kaspersky releases a free tool that scans Linux for known threats, which in and of itself is kind of interesting. I mean, yes, we all like to claim that our operating system is invulnerable to all attacks, especially from those closed source people. But we know that it's not true. Anytime you've got humans in code, there is a possibility for malware to be about, as we've seen with some of the headlines recently. The interesting thing about KVRT, which is what they're calling their tool, is that they're advertising it as something to allow you to, help scan for any sort of malware. They specifically reference the recent XZ-Utils backdoor. They talk about being able to detect malware, adware, legitimate programs being abused for malicious purposes, and any other known threats. It's got a database that it routinely hits to update it, like most tools. Anything that it finds, it stores in var opt KVRT 2024_data/quarantine in a non-harmful form. Probably the two biggest question marks with this that I have, and I'm going to, of course, bring in everybody else to discuss it, is first off, we don't like to... We like to stay technical, not get political, but there are world events going on, and Kaspersky is a Russian company located in Russia, first off. Second off, this is not an open source tool, and it has to be run as root. So they're saying, hey, we're going to protect you against malware by demanding that you download their binary and run it as root. Which I'm going, okay, yes, as long as you trust them and their tool chain, you're not, might be willing to do, but I would definitely hesitate a little bit. They have verified that they've tested it on all the major versions. They specifically mentioned Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, which it's ironic they mentioned that since I have an article about that going away. But Linux Mint, Ubuntu, SUSE, OpenSUSE, Debian, among others. So there's a good chance that it's going to run on any Linux distribution. But as my article from Bleeping Computer says, we haven't tested the effectiveness, nor can we guarantee the safety of KVRT. So use the tool at your own risk. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I very much feel the dubiousness of this. So from a practical standpoint, yes, there has to be a consideration that, this is being created in another country that potentially has some hostilities towards some of the countries that we're involved in. Like the whole geopolitical thing, yes, that's a consideration. I have a bigger problem with running it as root and it being proprietary software. I mean, who knows what all it's doing. So let's theory craft this. This will be interesting. Let's theory craft this a little bit. How could you use this? So assuming that it is actually on the level, but wanting to protect yourself from the possibility that there's something malicious in there, how would you use it in a way that's safe? And I think there's a way to do it. I'm curious if one of you guys have thoughts on this. How would you go about making use of it safely?
First, I'd scan it with ClamAV after downloading it.
Scan the antivirus with another antivirus. Okay.
Use it from another machine and scan things over the network.
Okay. I'm thinking clone your machine into a virtual machine and run it inside the VM. Download it, disconnect the VM from the internet, run it, see if it finds anything. If it doesn't, just nuke the VM. Don't let it touch anything on the outside. That way
First thing it's going to tell you is that it can't work without the network connection.
Well, then you can just kind of walk away from it and go, well, that's a garbage product. I don't really need that.
Yeah, I mean, there's other solutions too out there. So
that's true.
It's not like they're the first. But I don't know. I guess my question to them or you, if what would set them apart from anybody else? I know it probably has a live where like ClamAV, I think, is more just a general scanner. And I know there are plenty of I'm assuming this is also free. Otherwise, it definitely wouldn't be that big of a story, since there are
I think
plenty of commercial products that will work on Linux. But
yeah, it is a free tool. I think the only reason it makes news right now is because they released it, and anything they do generates a little bit of news at the current moment.
Yeah, it's Kaspersky, so
Exactly.
Yeah, there's this big question mark with it, because they do good work. There's great security research comes out of Kaspersky. I've made use of some of their tools in the past. But there's just this big question mark because of where they're out of, and the question is there: are they compromised to some degree because of where they're at? And nobody really knows. So far, they have not done anything outright shady. So you kind of want to give them the benefit of the doubt as far as that goes, but at the same time, there's some red flags there. All right.
I wonder what VirusTotal would say about it.
I imagine somebody's already uploaded it to VirusTotal.
Keith 512 mentions that.
Yeah.
Well, that's always a good first step.
It is. We ought to cover VirusTotal as somebody bring it as a command line tip one of these days. I'm sure there is a way to upload to VirusTotal as a command line, from the command line too, and that would actually be really useful.
With curl?
I mean, I'm sure you can do it with curl, but somebody's probably got a
utility already
version
built
of it where it's just, VirusTotal this, the name of the script, and then VirusTotal this, and then whatever file you want to upload. There's probably some way to do it.
If there's not, I'll make it.
There you go. That'd be a way for Rob to really make his mark on the world. Make a VirusTotal uploader.
There's VTCLI, so there is one out
It's
there.
already out there. I figured it would be. Like, the people that run VirusTotal are such total geeks. Like, of course they have a Linux script to do it for you.
Yeah, so many things integrate with it.
Yeah. Oh, yes. VirusTotal is great. And for those that don't know, I'll give you the quick version of what it does. You upload a file to it's like a website to VirusTotal, and it then runs all of the antiviruses that it's plugged into, which is like 90 or 100. It runs it through all of them and then gives you a report. It's like, okay, Kaspersky thinks it's fine. ESET thinks it's fine. Malwarebytes thinks it's potentially unwanted software, and blah, blah, blah. You get all the results. And the really fun thing about it too is, like, you can search previous uploads. So, like, if you find a virus, you could say, okay, what was the earliest point in time that VirusTotal knew about this? And it'll tell you this particular file was first uploaded in, January of 2 years ago. But we first discovered that it was malicious a year and a half ago. So it's really great for doing research. VirusTotal is pretty cool.
Hey, it's Leo Laporte. I hope you've enjoyed this little clip from our programming at TWiT.tv. For more, visit our website, TWiT.tv, or subscribe in your favorite podcast client. There's also a link somewhere down there.